Okay, now we're ready for the second part, inserting images and editing the timeline in Movie Maker. The first thing is that if you're going to post your video online, you need to have the permission of copyright holders for publishing any photos or sounds unless they're in the public domain, which means that no copyright applies. For copyright-friendly sites, see the links on the right-hand side of the library homepage. Creative Commons is a good place to start. Check out links to other copyright-friendly sites here too. If you're only using photos and sounds as part of a project for showing in class, you don't need permission because it falls under the fair use protections. See the copyright and fair use video for more details. To find photos for a project like this, one of the easiest resources to use is Google Images, Yahoo Images, or one of the other major search engines. Most of these have image searches. So if I'm looking for photos on the Great Depression, I can just type in Great Depression in the Google search box. I don't have to type in the word photos because I'm going to actually just go to the image search as soon as I get that search term in. So in the upper left-hand corner, I click on Images, and now all of my results are photos from the Great Depression, or about the Great Depression. So an important thing to remember about searching for photos is finding photos that are the right size. If you look underneath the title of the photo, it'll tell you how many pixels each photo is. So you see this one is 591 by 479 pixels, and that's a good size. As a general rule of thumb, you want photos that are at least 400 by 400. So I'm going to click on that photo, and then I'm going to click on the full-size image. I don't want to save the thumbnail. I want to save the largest size photo that I can find. So I right-click, and I save picture as. Now remember, we want to save it to our folder. So I'm going to click on my documents, and I'm going to go to my folder, which in this case is called Your Last Name Movie Maker. And I'm going to let it be called 1928 Great Depression. I'll save that. All right, so then I just go back to Google and look at my results and look for another photo that's of good size that will work with my story. Once you've saved all your pictures in this way, you're ready for the next step. If you recall, what we did first was to make a recording of our narration, and then what we want to try to do is match the pictures to the narration. So I already have my sound or my narration inserted into my timeline. We already showed you how to do that earlier. And then I want to import my pictures. So there are many ways you can do this. You can actually open the folder and click and drag them right onto this work area, or you can click on Import Pictures over here in the left-hand corner. Remember, these are in my folder in my documents. And I have all of these pictures in there. What I can do is just draw a box around them, and I can import them all at once. You can do this one at a time too. And that brings in all of the pictures that I've saved having to do with my topic. In this case, I'm working on things related to the Great Depression. So what I want to do then is decide, I want to go back and I want to play my timeline and decide what picture I want to go first. And I think this is a really famous picture. I think we're going to start with this one. So I'm going to drag that picture down into my timeline. And when I do that, it's a certain length. It's actually 2.5 seconds long. And then what I have to do is decide how long I really want that picture to last with my recording. So I click on play, and then I listen until I get to the place where I want to change pictures. So when I'm at that point, I'm going to change that picture. If I want that picture to last longer, I click on it, and I go to the end of it until I get this red arrow, and then I can drag that picture for as long as I want or as short as I want. Now if I want it to be very short, I might want to increase my view a little bit, zoom in a little bit so that I can have a little bit more fine control. If I want to zoom in, I'm going to click on this plus magnifying glass. Now I'm not changing the size of the picture. I'm just changing the size of the screen so that if I can adjust the picture more finely. So I'm going to make that picture that long, and then I'm going to figure out what picture I want to bring in next. Now, I actually numbered these as I saved them. So this one's number 2, and then the file name 3, 4, 5. So they're sort of in order for me already, but you don't have to do that. You can see which picture you want to bring in next based on what it looks like. So then again, I'm going to listen to my recording, and I'm going to play until I get to the point where I want to put in the next picture. I say, okay, I want that one to be just this long. And then I bring in my next picture, and so on. Now, as soon as I have inserted a few pictures, I want to go up to File and Save Project As. And I want to make sure that this goes in my folder again and save that. And every couple of minutes, I want to save that file again. Movie Maker is a little bit glitchy and it freezes a lot, so it's a good idea to save frequently. The normal transition between slides is just a quick cut. So if I press play here, you'll see that the view in this window changes just as a quick cut. Just like that. Now, if I want to change that transition, I can. There's a few easy ways to do that. One way that you can do it is right-click on the first slide, and you can fade out on that slide, and right-click on the second slide and fade in. So then you have an effect that looks like this. Another thing that you can do is to just, I'm going to remove these. I'm going to right-click and uncheck these. Another transition that you can do that's kind of nice is to click on the second picture. So I make sure that the cursor turns into a hand. Then I click and I drag the second picture into the first. If you notice that blue bar, that means that those two pictures are overlapping now. So I'm going to overlap those. So now when I back up here and play this, you'll see one sort of dissolve into the next. So that's the other possibility. There are many other transitions. If you click on Make View Video Transitions, you can see all the different transitions that are possible. However, I really recommend that you stick with one transition. Whatever you do, do it for every type of slide, because otherwise it becomes very distracting to do a different transition with every picture. Finally, if you want to add titles or credits or any other text to your Movie Maker presentation, it's very simple to do that. You just go over here under Edit Movie and click on Make Titles or Credits. And then you have a whole bunch of different choices. You can either make a title or a credit that's alone, apart from pictures, or you can actually place them right on a picture. So if I want to make a title at the beginning, I just click on Make Title at the beginning. Here is my title. I have a lot of choices. I can change the color of the background here. So I'm going to make this that color. I can change the color of the text if I want to. So I'm going to make it that color. I can change the font if I want to. If I want to change the way the title comes in, I click on Change the Animation. I have many choices about the way the title comes in. Just more choices than I have time to show you. But when you've made all your choices, you click Done and add it to your movie. And you'll see that it added it to the beginning of my timeline before my first picture. So you can always move pictures around by making the cursor turn into a hand and then dragging them to wherever you want them to be. So now my title slide is in the middle of the presentation. All right, once you're done, remember you're saving frequently. You're going to save your movie project one more time. Just save it. Then you want to convert it to a movie. Now this is the most important last step. You don't actually have a movie until you're done editing and you save it as a movie file. To do that, you click on File, you go to save the movie file. Before we were just saving it as a project. So now I save the movie file. I want to save it to my computer. So I'm going to click on Next. And then I want to give it a title. I think I recommend that you call this Your Last Name. And maybe the name of the project. And then I'm going to browse for my folder and make sure it goes into my folder. So mine's in my documents. And mine's called Your Last Name. So I scroll for that folder and I click on that. Once I find the folder and I click on it, it's named down here. I say OK. And then I click Next. And I want it best quality for playback, and I click Next. And now it's converting my file to a .wmv file. So that's a movie, and that's the final product that is put together, that puts together your sound and your pictures and anything else that you create into a movie that plays as a movie. Once that's done, I'm going to click Finish here. You can go into your folder then, and you can find that file. And remember, I called it by my last name, and it's a .wmv file, and it will show up as a .wmv. So there is my movie. This is not a very elegant movie because I just used this as a sample, but if I double click on that now, it opens up a media player and starts my movie immediately.